My dear one, pause for a moment and truly listen. This message isn't a coincidence. It's arriving at the exact time your spirit was ready to hear it. Heaven has watched everything. Every word spoken behind your back, every mask someone wore before you, and every plan designed to twist your emotions. You've been sensing something was off. Maybe you couldn't explain it, but deep inside you felt it. That uneasiness wasn't your imagination. It was divine warning. Your angels were whispering, "Be careful. Someone isn't who they appear to be." This person came into your life smiling, offering comfort, connection, maybe even love or friendship. But behind that charm was something darker, a subtle form of control. They wanted you to doubt yourself. They wanted to pull your strings quietly, making you question your own worth and intuition. Sound familiar? That's not just manipulation, that's spiritual warfare disguised as affection. But here's the part that will surprise you. Heaven never let them get as far as they hoped. You may have felt like you were losing yourself in their games, but in truth, God was allowing you to see the contrast so you'd recognize manipulation for what it is. Think back to those moments when confusion hit hardest, when they made you feel guilty for things you didn't do, when they twisted the story to make themselves look like the victim. You almost believed them, didn't you? But something stopped you, that something was divine interference. Your angel stepped in and shielded you from a trap you didn't even know was being set. What they meant to destroy your confidence, God used to sharpen your discernment. Now, that same person who once thought they had control is losing their grip. Their charm doesn't work anymore. Their words no longer pierce the same way. You've grown spiritually stronger and they can feel it. In fact, your silence has become their biggest punishment. When you stopped explaining, stopped defending, and simply withdrew your energy, they lost their source of power. Manipulators thrive on reaction, on pulling emotional strings. But when the strings are cut, they collapse under their own emptiness. And here's what's happening now. They're confused. They don't understand why their usual tactics no longer affect you. They're replaying conversations, wondering where they lost their control. What they don't realize is that heaven intervened. Your angels have been working in the unseen, rearranging circumstances, exposing lies, and shifting your emotional frequency higher. You no longer vibrate on the same level of fear or guilt they used to manipulate. You're standing in divine truth now, and that truth repels deceit. Let's be real. You didn't deserve to be treated like that. You gave love, trust, and understanding to someone who used your compassion as leverage. You wanted to believe in their potential, their heart, their words. But not everyone you love is meant to walk with you. Some are simply sent to awaken your discernment, and that awakening, it's here. What was once confusing now feels clear. What was once painful now feels like purpose. So when you catch yourself asking, "Why did they do this to me?" remember, it wasn't about punishment, it was about positioning. God needed you to outgrow the illusions that once blinded you. Because here's the truth that changes everything. You weren't rejected, betrayed, or abandoned. You were redirected. Heaven saw the conversations you never heard, the jealousy behind the smiles, the private intentions they hid so well, and God said, "Enough." That's why doors suddenly closed. That's why communication broke down. That's why you felt an unexplainable distance. It wasn't a coincidence. It was divine protection. And now your absence is teaching them what your presence once gave freely. They're realizing that no amount of manipulation can recreate the peace, love, and stability you brought into their life. Their conscience is restless because they can feel the divine hand removing what they tried to exploit. Let this settle in your heart. You didn't lose them. You were liberated from them. What's coming next is not more pain, but clarity, justice, and peace. You might not see all the details yet, but heaven is already preparing your restoration. God is rewriting your story. The very people who tried to control your path will soon witness how gracefully you rise above them, not through revenge, but through divine favor. And when they see it, confusion will fill their hearts because they'll finally realize they never had power over you. They were simply a temporary test, and you passed. So take a breath. Let go of what you can't change and trust that what left your life was never meant to stay. Your angels are saying you're free now. The season of manipulation is over. Stand tall, child of light, because God is about to reveal who you truly are. And when He does, every hidden motive, every false word, every mask will fall away. What remains will be truth, strength, and divine peace. Please support Christian motivation by giving a super thanks for Jesus' blessings. Because your next chapter isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about showing what happens when God makes things right. Child of God, now that your spirit has been freed, a divine reversal has begun. Everything that once worked against you is starting to work for you. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but the spiritual atmosphere around you has shifted. The person who once felt powerful, who played with your heart like it was a game, can feel that shift too. The tables are turning. Their confidence is cracking, and for the first time, they're beginning to see the truth that heaven has always known. You were the blessing they mishandled. They used to believe they could control the narrative, that they could twist situations, create confusion, and always come out looking innocent. But God has a way of bringing every hidden thing into the light, and now what was once their protection, silence, lies, image is falling apart. Let me tell you this clearly. They didn't just lose you, they lost divine favor when they deceived you. They thought they were outsmarting a human being. But they were actually challenging a divine plan because you were not just someone in their story. You were a part of heaven's assignment for their soul. That's why their peace is gone. Their thoughts are restless. They replay every word you spoke, every time you tried to love them purely, every warning you gave before walking away. And even though they may pretend everything's fine, deep inside, they know they messed up something sacred. They tried to take advantage of your kindness. Now life is mirroring their own behavior back to them. The same manipulation they used on you, someone else is using it on them. The same cold silence they gave you, they're hearing it echo in their own life now. This isn't revenge, it's revelation. Heaven isn't punishing them, it's teaching them because God is just, and his justice is not about cruelty, it's about correction. He will let them feel the weight of what they did, not to destroy them, but to awaken them. And while they're wrestling with guilt and regret, you are being elevated into peace, purpose, and prosperity. Isn't that how divine justice works? Quietly, perfectly, without your interference? So, if you've been wondering, will they ever realize what they did? The answer is yes, but not in the way you expect. They won't just miss you. They'll see you rise. They'll see your light, your confidence, your calm spirit, and that will hurt more than any words you could ever say. Because nothing exposes a manipulator faster than your peace. Nothing unsettles a deceiver more than watching you live in joy without them. Right now, your angels are saying, don't look back. The apology isn't necessary for the healing that's already begun. You've already been vindicated in the spirit. God is preparing to show it in the physical. People who believe the wrong story about you will soon see the truth revealed naturally without you saying a single word. The same mouths that spoke against you will witness your restoration. And those who silently doubted your strength will be stunned by your glow up, spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. That's what divine justice looks like. God doesn't expose to embarrass, he exposes to elevate. You see, when you were crying, heaven was collecting every tear. When you were silent, the angels were interceding for you. And when you were being blamed unfairly, God was already writing your comeback. Now, your story is shifting from pain to power, from confusion to clarity, from manipulation to mastery. This is your time to rebuild stronger, wiser, more spiritually aligned than ever before. And you'll notice something miraculous happening along the way. You'll start feeling compassion instead of anger because healing always softens the heart that once broke. You won't even want revenge. You'll simply wish them peace from afar because now you understand the lesson was never about losing them. It was about finding yourself. Heaven wants you to know you passed a spiritual test that few people ever pass. You learned to stay kind without being controlled. You learned to walk away without losing your faith. You learned that peace is more valuable than explanation. And that lesson has promoted you to a higher level of protection and purpose. From now on, anyone who approaches you will feel the difference. Your spirit carries discernment now. Your energy is wrapped in divine armor, and only those aligned with truth will be able to stay close. The angels are celebrating that. They're saying, well done, beloved soul. You didn't let bitterness win. You chose light. So as this chapter closes, don't mourn the loss. Celebrate the release because God's about to send people into your life who don't need to be convinced of your worth. They'll recognize it instantly. You're stepping into a season where you won't have to question people's motives, where love will flow freely without control or confusion, where your peace won't depend on someone else's approval. That's what divine maturity feels like, calm power. And as for the one who tried to manipulate you, they'll carry the memory of what they lost for a long time. Not out of punishment, but as a reminder of what real love looks like. They'll look for you in others and never find the same light, because what you offered came from heaven. And once someone mishandles a heaven-sent soul, they spend a lifetime learning the value of what they let go. So walk in your peace, keep your heart pure, and never apologize for growing past the people who couldn't grow with you. The angels say your light is not for everyone, but it will always be seen by the right ones. Please support Christian motivation by giving a super thanks for Jesus' blessings. And remember, when heaven exposes manipulation, it's not to shame you for trusting. It's to remind you that love, when guided by God, always wins in the end.